Hello everybody, welcome back to Pixar Astrology. I'm Pix, and today I'm going to be giving you 5 things to expect with Mercury squaring Saturn all week until Thursday, June 15th. So if you like what you see, hit like and subscribe to join the community. Another thing to note is that Saturn is stationing retrograde on Saturday, so it's slowing down all week, which is an intense time for some of us, but also a great chance to slow down and recalibrate some things. So grab a cozy seat, maybe your favorite snack, and let's dive into the 5 things to expect from this transit throughout the entire week. Okay, number 1 on my list of things to expect, communication challenges, or on the other side of the scale, mindful communicating. So, when Mercury's in Gemini, it's like being at a very bustling party where everyone's engaged in conversation, sharing ideas, telling stories, lots of connection happening. The energy is buzzing, it's quick, and it's very social. Words are flowing very easily. You're flitting from topic to topic, and everything is just very stimulating and very fun with Mercury in Gemini. But suddenly, Saturn in Pisces enters the chat. The cat. Tuna the cat. This is Tuna, everyone. Did you know that cats are ruled by Saturn? She's right on cue. And Saturn in Pisces is like a quiet, thoughtful guest who prefers one-on-one. Oh, I'm so sorry, honey. Who prefers one-on-one meaningful conversations over any loud chatter or buzzy busyness. So this transition can feel a bit abrupt. You might find that your quick-witted responses are not as quick as usual, and maybe you start to carefully consider your words before speaking them out loud. That would be a very healthy thing to do with Mercury squaring Saturn. And it might manifest as a communication challenge also, especially if you're used to freely expressing yourself or just kind of flying by the seat of your pants and communicating, and you're not really socially anxious or anything like that. Saturn squaring Mercury will bring up some anxiety sometimes. It might feel like you're walking on eggshells with certain people or needing to navigate conversations to avoid misunderstandings because they're popping up a bit more than usual. Tuna, you need to lay down. All right. This is very Mercury square Saturn. I'm trying to talk to you, and my kitty is being a kitty. Again, you might feel like you're walking on eggshells, or you have to work around some misunderstandings on some level. This is especially true for the mutable signs. That's Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. But it is important to know that this isn't necessarily a setback. It's more of an opportunity to find mindful communication, meaningful, a little bit deeper, a little bit more real. You're learning maybe more the importance of listening, deep listening, thoughtful responding, thoughtful responses, more meaningful dialogue with people. This is also a time to express yourself in other ways that are a little bit more crafty, maybe writing or painting, where you can take your time a bit more to articulate your ideas without having to pump them out as quickly. Potential misunderstandings, which leads to mindful communication. That's something to look out for. It's a good time to have a talk if you need to have a talk. All right, number 2, agreements and commitments. So picture this. You and your friends are planning a spontaneous weekend getaway. This is Mercury and Gemini in action. Fun, spontaneous, curious, social. You're all excited. Ideas are flowing about where to go, what to do, and it feels like possibilities are endless with Mercury in Gemini. But then, Saturn in Pisces steps in, like a responsible parent, reminding you that before you can hit the road, you need a solid plan. Maybe something like figuring out logistics. Who's going to drive? Who's going to take care of the accommodations? Is anyone allergic to anything? Suddenly, the spontaneous adventure takes a back seat, and the planning stage takes center stage. And, Saturn vibes can feel a little bit like a party pooper. But really, it's, just making sure that everyone is on the same page and the trip is going to be enjoyable and structured in some way that it doesn't just fall apart. This energy prompts you to slow down and put commitments and agreements in place. And again, this is another level of clear, mindful communication. This week might translate into a time where you need to focus on the fine print of things, whether you're drafting a contract for work, planning a big event, having a discussion about relationship boundaries. So this is a period where details matter a lot more than usual. The fast-paced energy of Mercury in Gemini is challenged by the slowdown of Saturn in Pisces to make sure that everything is in order before moving forward. And while this might seem tedious, it's for the best, right? We know this. I don't need to explain to you why we need structure in things. We don't want unpleasant surprises. We want to know what to expect, yada yada, all that stuff. Okay, number 3, next thing to expect this week with this Mercury square Saturn: enhanced thoughtfulness, slower decision making. This is another branch off of mindful communicating, right? So imagine you're, ma'am, imagine you are in a lively debate with somebody. That's Mercury in Gemini. You're darting from one idea to another, really voicing your opinions, quick on your feet, ready for any counterpoint. It's exhilarating, it's fun, it's entertaining. And Saturn in Pisces squares that Mercury, bringing in a more measured pace. So suddenly you're no longer just shooting off responses. You're pausing, you're contemplating, you're taking a moment to fully digest what's being said before formulating your thoughts. This shift feels like somebody just pumped the brakes with your mental agility. It slows things down a notch or two. And this is good, so you don't blurt something out that you don't mean, that doesn't make sense, that, you don't want people to think you think, things like this, things you didn't mean. So you might find yourself taking longer to make decisions. Maybe you're compelled to consider all the angles of something, assess all the possible outcomes, and think through every detail meticulously. It feels inconvenient, right? If you're someone who prides yourself in being decisive, can't relate. But this is a period of enhanced thoughtfulness, and it's valuable. So it's teaching you the importance of deliberation this week. So slow down this week. Slow down your decision making. Contribute to a more mindful consideration. And this will be better in the long run, Saturn likes to say. So the 4th thing to expect, more introspection this week with Mercury and Saturn squaring. If Mercury in Gemini is like being at a lively coffee shop, conversing, engaging with those around you, then Saturn in Pisces is like sitting alone in the quiet corner of a library, engrossed in a thought-provoking book. There's a palpable shift from the external to the internal when Saturn touches Mercury or when Mercury touches Saturn. From sharing ideas to others to then delving deeper into your own thoughts and more considerations. So when these planets square, you might notice yourself wanting to retreat a bit more than usual from your social life and maybe spend more time with yourself. The constant stimulation and buzz from Mercury in Gemini gives way to a little bit more of calmness with Saturn in Pisces. It urges you to look inward. So reflecting on experiences, pondering life's big questions, examining your beliefs, questioning your assumptions, all supported things this week. Pondering, yearning, that meme. And this can feel isolating at times or at first, especially if you're used to being in the thick of social life. But again, this is helping us grow. It's giving us a chance to understand ourselves a bit better, explore the inner world, and dissect and review and come across insights that you wouldn't have had amidst all the hustle and bustle. So, embracing introspection, that's number 4. There's cat hair just like flying everywhere. Thank you, Saturn and Pisces. Okay, the 5th thing to expect this week, a little bit more pessimism, or just no, hearing no, saying no. So imagining that you're quick-witted Mercury in Gemini, buzzing around, busy bee, filled with ideas, optimism, pitching ideas left and right, absolute gold. And then Mercury squares Saturn, and Saturn strolls in with a sobering dose of reality. And the thing with Saturn is it's like a very wise, older figure in your life who isn't afraid to tell you things as they are. So you might present some grand idea this week, expecting a pat on the back, but instead, Saturn's going to point out the flaws and point out the things you've overlooked and the costs you didn't consider. And it could feel a bit like a wet blanket or a wet, soggy log over your enthusiasm, and you might perceive it as an outright no or a rejection of some kind. And in this phase, this week, you might find yourself leaning towards a little bit more of a pessimistic mindset, maybe doubting the feasibility of your plans or second guessing yourself, feeling imposter syndrome more than usual. It's like that nagging voice in your head that keeps questioning, is this really going to work? What if it fails? But here's the twist. Even though Saturn feels like a party pooper, it's not necessarily here to bring you down. Saturn wants you to be more grounded, more realistic in your approach to things. It's here to ensure that you're not building castles in air, but with solid structures on a solid, sturdy foundation. Yes, it can feel very harsh when your grand ideas meet Saturn's stern no, but remember, it's pushing you to just reevaluate your plans, dial it in properly, identify pitfalls, create a more feasible strategy. So while this week might seem like a little bit of a downer, it's definitely a chance to ground your ideas in reality, make it more real, consider practicalities, strive for suitable success, brainstorm. It's a time of realism over idealism, even though we have that square with Neptune happening, so there's a bit of a push-pull. So Mercury is helping move through this idealism for solid planning over hasty decisions. So embrace this energy. It's all part of your journey towards your success, your goals. So I know I mentioned this in the beginning, but I want to say again, this is going to be especially potent for the Mercury-ruled people, that's Virgo and Gemini risings, as well as people with planets or points in any of the mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius. Y'all will be noticing this energy strongest. So what are your thoughts on all of this? Any unique insights or tactics you have to share? I'd love to read your comments. So that's pretty much it. With Saturn stationing retrograde also this week, it's definitely another cue to slow down and reevaluate, especially around your communications and your commitments. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe to join the community. If you're into a more deeper, tailored astrological insights, you can definitely look at my portal, Pix's portal, for custom horoscopes and consultations. And don't forget my thriving Discord community, the 9th house, a must visit for all astrology enthusiasts. Thanks for spending time with me today. Hope this chat shed some light on what to expect this week with this Mercury Saturn square. I will see you next time, folks. Bye.